War is raging, government is stealing our freedom, food processing plants are burning, and gun sales are through the roof. You're in the right place. This is The Prepared Mind.
Fake carrots. Fake fruit. Fake. Fake. Fake grapefruits. Fake. Liar! You liar!
That's right. He's a liar, a big fat liar head. And so is the rest of government, by the way. I mean, they just lie to us continuously about what they're about, what they believe in, who their allies are, who's paying them off, etc. Folks, if you can't see the SHTF, you just got your eyes shut. That's all. Once you open your eyes, man, you wake up, right? That's it. You're sleeping. Your eyes are asleep, man. You're dreaming about stuff. You open that eye and look around. You're like, holy shit. That's right. You look around and you see it. You're awake. I mean, just think about it. You're having a lovely dream, running through the green grass, and there's daisies and shit. And Brett Favre or Donovan McNabb or Joe Montana throws you a pass. Joe Namath throws you a pass and you catch it. And there's people cheering. And you're like, yeah, life is great. And then you wake up and you're like, fuck. This is reality. That's where we're at. We're in reality here on the Prepared Mind channel. Thank you, Michael Brown, for the $4 super chat donation. That's right. Did a super chat donation right here on a regular Monday through Friday show. Michael, here's to you, brother. That's right. I'm on a 48-hour work cycle now. And need some coffee in the afternoon. Welcome to the new studio as well, prepared by Mr. T for your viewing pleasure. What are we going to talk about? I know. How about we talk about government liars? Government. It's put in place to manage our lives, to help us and serve us, the people, right? Well, we like to think that. Is it true? I don't know. Well, let's see, the executive branch and the legislative branch and the judicial branch, and if something bad happens, for Pete's sake, we've got emergency services, right? Well, get this, folks. In Maui, we've all heard about the fire by now. Burned down my precious Lahaina and Keanapali. And I don't say that tongue in cheek. They are precious places to me. Some great memories. I've spent about 20 days in those two towns. And they're right next to each other, by the way. It's not like saying, San Francisco and LA and California. No, they're like literally. You fall over in Lahaina and you land in Keanapali. Anyways, here's the deal. We're supposed to have emergency services. That's what government is supposed to provide. You aren't going to believe this. You can't make this shit up. This is your government in action. Why has it hit the fan? Gross incompetence. Did you know that the emergency operations chief in Maui has absolutely no disaster response background or experience? I don't need to say anything else about anyone else's opinion or anything else. He's got no experience at it. I mean, literally, folks, when you've seen it, you've seen the fire extinguisher on the wall. This has been used in cartoons, in parodies, in real movies. In case of emergency, break glass, right? And you grab the fire extinguisher, you grab an axe, right? Something to help put out a fire, deal with an emergency. A fire is happening. What do? You break glass and you push the emergency button. Sirens go off and people get activated. There are procedures and policies. Policies and procedures. And emergencies happen. You open the book in Hawaii. Let's see, page 1, tsunami. It's not a tsunami, no. Page 2, volcano. Well, not on Maui. That volcano's dormant for now. Page 3, tornado. No, this is an island. Page 4, hurricanes. Not a hurricane. Page 5, fire. Whew, that took a whole 1 fucking minute. fire. Step one, push the fucking alarm button. Rant, 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 evacuate. This is the government. This is the level of incompetence. And this guy, whoever the hell he is, I don't want to pick on him much more than this, because someone put him in that position. Someone said, hey, you need to be in a position of authority around here. Is it any wonder why people are going to look to preppers, patriots, veterans, when shit gets really bad? They're going to be like, you know something. You bet you do. In case of emergency. Well, maybe he's going to get another chance in the next couple of weeks. Right now, in the Central and Eastern Pacific, meaning these things could come get Hawaii, are three, count them, 1, 2, 3, well, tropical storm type things. You got one is just south of Hawaii, could turn and go straight north. You got another one offshore a couple of days, heading right towards it, and it's just a tropical storm. And then there's this potential hurricane called Hillary. What an appropriately named hurricane, Hillary. Well, they're saying it's not going to hit Hawaii. They're saying it's got Southern California in its crosshairs. Crosshairs. There's a term for you. Well, they're also claiming that it could rapidly intensify. Just how do they know that? Why is it that the other two tropical storms in the Pacific, and there's also one above Japan, it's in the Sea of Japan, between Japan and South Korea. Why is it those are just fine, but the one that's going to hit California could rapidly intensify? I'm just asking questions, folks. Let's see if it rapidly intensifies, shall we? Let us continue. This is a thankless Thursday, folks. A thankless Thursday. I don't have a whole lot of good news today. I don't. Got a hell of a headache, a tension headache. Oh, Thursdays. Did you know it has now come out that Joe Biden was using a pseudonym? What's that mean? He's using a fake name, an alias. He's using an alias. All the investigating about Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, shaking down world leaders, shaking down foreign corporations for money. You know, the big guy wants his 10%. Now they've discovered, in addition to him being the big guy, now he's using a pseudonym they've caught him on. And the Republicans who have the balls. In fact, why has it that Representative Comer has basically been the only voice of offense against the Bidens, against corruption? Do they really own all of Washington, D.C., the bureaucracy, the Senate, the House? Is that it? I think so. The evidence is overwhelming. Biden emails are using a pseudonym, right? They discovered this because this guy, this other guy, is being CC'd on Hunter's emails. Robert L. Peters. Who the hell is Robert L. Peters? Well, that's interesting. What a name, huh? Try President Biden. And he used that to email his son's business associates, including using it to schedule a call with the president of Ukraine. How convenient is that? And so James Comer, Representative Comer, is going after him. Where's the rest of the GOP, folks? Please get on the phone, get on the email, get on the text message, get on the smoke signals, get on the carrier pigeon, whatever it takes to let these bastards know. Get behind Comer and get in there and demand this guy be impeached, removed from office, charged with a crime, for fuck's sake. Jeez. Wow. Are you awake? Have you taken the blind off and looked around with just one eye, or do you got both eyes open? That's probably just a conspiracy theory. Yeah. Yeah. For the 150th time in a row, it's just a conspiracy theory. Wow. Let us keep going. While we're on Ukraine, let us just hammer Ukraine into the ground like a railroad spike. Well, over in Ukraine, in an effort to raise and boost morale, to bring the Ukraine people into a state of euphoria, Zelensky had a meeting with a military dude, and he wanted to look very military and tough and all that. He's probably going to talk like Clint Eastwood next. So he releases a video of this meeting, and it turns out the guy he's having a meeting with in the video is Ukraine's most vicious, notorious neo-Nazi. Oh, didn't you catch that on 60 Minutes? No? How about 2020? No? How about Good Morning America? The Today Show? Did anyone cover this? Literally, the guy is Ukraine's biggest neo-Nazi, and he's in the military. He's in charge of, well, they came up with a new name for the Azov battalion. I guess the other one was just a little, the Azov, that name was just a little bit too neo-Nazi-like. So now they have a new name. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy, he's special. Where is it? The Andrei Beletsky is his name. Andrei Beletsky. Huge neo-Nazi. The 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. What the fuck kind of name is that? The Separate Assault Brigade, as opposed to the Attached Assault Brigade. What the hell are they separate? They want to be separate from everyone else, not to be mistaken with a normal human. Those Nazis don't like to associate with normal people. Oh, man. So, yeah, Ukraine. Ukraine, what a freaking mess. In fact, a NATO official said, hey, look, basically, Ukraine, you got to give up. You have to go into the peace negotiations. Right? You're going to lose, and you're going to lose big. Well, he tried walking that back. But the concept is now out there in the wind again. Remember, months and months ago, it was tried by Alexander Haig. He tried saying, hey, is it Alexander Haig? We need to get out of the Russia thing before it goes to the nuclear. If you remember Alexander Haig, we are in charge here at the White House. The guy couldn't sound more viciously evil. Anyways, now it's back again. But it seems like the idea is going to stick. People are sick and tired of it. So what happens if NATO and the U.S. just say, okay, look, Zelensky, we're done. We're done. What are the Ukrainian people who have been put in the meat grinder going to think? Are they going to think how many died? How many Ukrainian men died pointlessly to try and keep the money laundering operation in the Ukraine going? Because that's really what this has all been about. Money laundering and bioweapons labs. And I'm sure a number of other things as well. Yeah, putting NATO bases in Ukraine, trying to intimidate, threaten, and strong arm Russia. But basically, I think the Ukraine people are done. They're probably running out of people. I mean, seriously, what, they got a fucking clone factory in there that they can make a bunch of little Zelenskys and have them run around in the front line and fight and die? They're running out of people. They've lost more lives, folks, in a year of fighting than America, our country, did fighting the Vietnam War. And I'm glad that we didn't lose more than we did, because what we lost was atrocious. But what are they going to think? How many died just so these rich bastards can keep their money laundering operations in working order? They owe Ukraine quite a bit, don't you think? I think someone like Bill Gates should be forced to give up all of his money, his entire life, his fortune, his holdings, his everything, his nonprofit organizations, everything. Bill Gates should be forced to give up every last dollar, stake, interest, and property to the people of Ukraine. I think that would be a generous gesture on the part of America. Would you or I be hurt? Would we be hurt if Bill Gates lost every single penny? No, I wouldn't be hurt a bit, because Bill Gates does not make money for me. I don't get money from Bill. Bill doesn't help me. I refuse to use Microsoft products. You know, I could use Windows 98 still and be perfectly happy with it. They don't have to do any more Windows products. In fact, all the Office products, I use Google Office. Fuck Microsoft. I know I'm using a Google product, but now at least I'm not paying money to dipshit Bill Gates. But yeah, I think that'd be great. Wouldn't that be wonderful if a rich billionaire lost his fucking ass every time we got in a war? You think we would quit getting in wars, don't you? You know, folks, shit has hit the fan, and that's just not the way it works. Okay. You know, the people in Washington, we've caught them in the last few years. It's been exposed. I don't know if Representative James Comer is the one who's doing all the work, but he seems to be the front man for releasing it to the public, right? All of the insider trading we learned about, members of the government using aliases and private emails. Hello, Hillary, Joe Biden. It's all illegal what they're doing, yet somehow they allow themselves all manner of sham activities. So there's this article out there that says James Comer reveals a list of pseudonyms Joe Biden used as vice president, and he's demanding the National Archives hand over all unredacted records of Robert L. Peters. Well, see, this story starts out with pseudonyms, as in Joe Biden is using more than one. He's got multiple pseudonyms. And why would the name Robert L. Peters be redacted, that is to say blacked out, on things that are being stored in the National Archives? Now, right, let's see, on Mr. Peters' work, Hunter Biden, Eric Schwern, and Devin Archer, you know, the guy who's come out, all seem to be good buddies with this Robert L. Peters guy. Here's some other names, though. How about Robin Ware? Robin. Interesting. Robin Ware. How about J.R.B. Ware? Beware. J.R. Beware. Those are some interesting pseudonyms, huh? How about I.B. Steelin? Fucking people. Oh, wow. Pseudonyms. That's just, I mean, what else have they done? Well, I know we could ask, let's ask that guy, Jeffrey Epstein. Someone should go drag him out of his beach resort over there in the southeastern Mediterranean, if you know what I'm talking about. All right. Joe Biden. I want to get into this guy some more. This guy is Mr. Election Fraud, Mr. Liar, Mr. Bullshitter. Joe Biden. He can barely walk, can't climb stairs, falls down stairs left and right, gets lost, wanders in circles, hobbles around. Oh, and the sick bastard, I'll tell you about this one in a minute. Right, he can barely move, but today falls off of bicycles. Today, the son of a bitch jogged. That's right, folks. He jogged. Why did he jog? Because this came out after Representative Comer revealed that he's using synonyms or pseudonyms. He can barely walk, but now all of a sudden the old fucker can run. That is one inspired, yeah, beware, JR beware, jogging Biden. That is just beautiful. That's about as good as a dancing hunter. I mean, get this. Yeah, Biden, right? Before all that happened, they were going straight at us again, folks. Straight at us. Who did he call out to push more of his crap? More climate change crap that's going to cost us money. It's going to destroy the economy. It's going to shut down American energy, American resources. That's right, climate change, climate crisis. None other than disgusting, filthy weirdo John Podesta. Now, John Podesta, where do we know him from? Oh, yeah, John Podesta. He's that guy who came out during all of the Comet Ping Pong, hot dog, pizza, child sex trafficking crap for Epstein and Little St. James Island the first time about 7 years ago when Trump first took office. They were doing that spirit cooking witchcraft crap. And I think he had like the number 14 written on his hand, and he had his hand sliced where they do their fucking witchcraft with blood shit. That's the guy, John Podesta. Way to go, Biden. Bring out John Podesta to lecture us about climate change. Right? I didn't see it, but maybe he had some more secret Hillary Epstein symbols drawn on his hands. I tell you, folks, it's that bad. It truly is that bad. It is. It's that bad. Now I'm going to let you know what Biden did. Once again, after he did that with Podesta, then the old fucking pervert, while at the microphone, has a message for children. And he leans into the microphone. He says, I know some really great ice cream places around here, and Daddy owes you, so talk to me afterwards. That was his message to children there in the audience. What a fucking creep. Daddy? Not grandpa or granddad. He calls himself Daddy. Hey, get in the van, kids. Let's go for a ride, huh, kiddies? This is our government, folks. The man doesn't know where he's at, but he knows when to run. They bring out just the most awful people. Is it any wonder? I mean, the cries, the screams go to heaven. Up into the heavens, way up there, into space. Just, what the fuck is going on around here? And it's going to keep going, folks. We're not done. We're not even close. It's not even close. I'm telling you, not even close. It was also put out today. Photos have been released of another January 6th prisoner tortured, folks. 5 months in isolation in a room the size of a closet with a bucket as a toilet, no clothes, a mat on the floor, and nothing more in the room than those items and a light. That's what January 6 prisoners have had to endure, that sort of thing. Where's the Human Rights Watch? Where's the ACLU? Where's Amnesty International? Where's the United Nations? Folks, the U.S. government is as bad as the Nazis. This is the type of torture that Nazis did, unless they were just willing to kill you. Otherwise, psychological torture, punishment. That's what these people are about, folks. Joe Biden is trying to lure your grandkids, your children, out to the ice cream van so he can sniff and rub on them and God knows what else. While Hunter's got his hands in everyone's back pocket because John Podesta is screaming, there's climate crisis and everyone needs to pay for it. Oh, and didn't they just send another $200 million over to Ukraine? Well, don't worry, folks. It's more than just the government. Oh, you bet. There is a very powerful doctors organization in the United States. It's now lobbying and asking the government for taxpayer-funded transplants for trannies. That's right. They want the government, that is you and me, to pay for uterus transplants for men. They're not slowing the insanity, folks. They're not stopping where they're at and trying to gain some credibility. No, they're accelerating. They're putting their heads down and getting even more ridiculous. A man who wants a uterus transplanted into him. The purpose is what? Are they using pig uteruses, by the way? You can use a pig's heart for heart transplant. Why not a pig uterus for these pigs? It's gone awful. It's gone off the hook. What used to be the most bizarre concepts and ideas that would be in a horror movie, they're now doing out in the open as if it's completely normal, and it's even research that's necessary. Like, I can imagine watching a horror film when I was a kid. Man falls asleep. He wakes up trained to a table, right? As doctors sew a uterus into him, inject him full of women's hormones. I mean, good God. But they're like, no, these guys want this. Talk about mental illness. And here's another one. The doctors themselves. It's not like they're like, well, Your Honor, these patients are demanding this stuff. No, the doctors are recommending it. Well, if we don't do this for you, you're going to die. So we'll do it for you. Really. They're pushing the limits, folks. They're pushing the limits of everything. Absolutely everything. Just unbelievable. Let's play another game, shall we? Another super athlete suddenly kicks the bucket. Seemingly healthy, a former Olympian. That's right. At age 43, not in super status age, but folks, I competed in strongman at age 39. I was no spring chicken when I went in there and threw around some Atlas stones. You know, I did that kind of stuff. But 43, so that's not out of the realm of being in really good shape. Dies suddenly. The family is shocked. Well, of course, take a wild guess why this person, right? Can't comprehend. That's right. The family can't comprehend this. You ought to be now, if anyone in my family were to die suddenly, I know what the first question is that I would ask. I know what the very first question is. And I'm pretty sure I could guess what the fucking answer would be. You know, what do you think? What's on your mind? It's going to continue. Right? Now, is it what I think it is? Can I prove it? Of course not. Of course not. But while other people were complaining of instantaneous heart attacks, I did have a friend who died instantaneously after getting the Jim Jones juice. It's just a coincidence. Yeah. Him and everyone else. Unbelievable. And speaking of that, I think I'm going to end my segment on this story having to do with the Jim Jones juice. Down in Brazil CNN, the host is suggesting to the viewers in Brazil that with the new cerveza bug round 2 coming up, that they need a mandatory Jim Jones juice. They think it should be mandatory. Folks, this is not a doctor. This is not a scientist. This was a TV news host. They're about as reliable as me asking me to perform heart transplant surgery. I know as much about heart transplant surgeries as the idiots down there know about mRNA technology. I know enough about it because I've read articles that were written by the guy who invented it, who described it in basically layman's terms, what it is, how it works, and what it's being used for. But no, this is what we're going to do, folks. All this is showing me is, number one, they plan on another pandemic. Number two, they plan on using propaganda. Their greatest tool, their free speech versus our inability to respond in kind. Get ready for more, folks. Shit, it's the fan. It's a blitzkrieg. It ain't over. Not by a long shot. Let's do this. Let's go to the inner circle. All right, we're back. Mr. Ooh Man, we've got some name redacted comments here. Get your questions down below. And if we're all done with the show, don't just go away. Don't go away mad. Go away and go to thepreparedmind.club. We do not have a store there. We do not have a warehouse full of prepping supplies. What we'll supply you with, though, is links to other websites that carry prepping items. Now, name redacted says, funny how they fail in everything that justifies government, and they succeed in everything that leads to dictatorship and death. That is a fact. You know, I've never thought about it that way. That's a really, really interesting way to put this. Let me examine what you had to say there. Funny how they, meaning government, they fail in everything that government has been charged with, that government has been instructed, required, right? That they've been mandated to do. They've been mandated to print coin, mint coin, print money. They gave that over to the Federal Reserve. They're supposed to secure the borders. Well, they just opened them up. They're supposed to provide for a national defense. They're turning it into a bunch of feminized fruitcakes who are likely to get a uterus stapled to their forehead, told they can have babies, and given full medical retirement. Yeah, you're right. They fail in everything that they have been mandated to provide. They've been mandated not to violate our free speech, yet the government has done that. From the FBI to the Department of Homeland Security to every federal agency out there that has something to say. National Institutes of Health, CDC, you bet. They want everyone silenced. That's the First Amendment. Second Amendment, the government directly tries to interfere with, dare I say, infringe, right? Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, stomp all over your rights, make up authority where it doesn't exist, give them power that they never were supposed to have, right? Now, they are successful, however, in everything that destroys the country. That's right. Everything that destroys the country. Let's see, let's go up to 2020. Yeah, that's a good place to start. Government is supposed to protect us. Instead, it allows the destruction to the tune of $5 billion in damage. And who knows how much other ancillary damage caused by the mostly peaceful riots. The fear, the destruction of property values. Thanks, government. Everything they're supposed to do, they don't. And everything they're not supposed to do, they excel at. Funny how they're competent when they shouldn't be, and incompetent when they're required to be. Great observation. Thank you, name redacted. Now let us move on if we shall. We've got do stuff with Nikki. And she says, where's Trump? All of a sudden he has a big trap because he's in trouble and crying foul. But he slunk off to Mar-a-Lago after losing and didn't stand up for the January 6 people. Well, I've got problems with Trump. He does things good. He pisses off the Democrats. He makes liberals, socialists, communists lose their mind. I value that. At the same time, he had the opportunity as president to completely, fully exonerate and pardon the January 6 protesters who have sacrificed their lives to protest, who tried defending themselves when attacked by government agents and agents provocateur on January 6th. I talked about Bill Gates giving up his, right, to pay back the country of Ukraine for the damage that people like him caused by asking for that war, demanding that war, putting people in a position where they had to go fight that war. Right, that served the masters in the military industrial complex and the military medical complex, bioweapons research. The World Economic Forum types got their hand in everyone's pies, right? These people on January 6th, they didn't have billions to give up. They didn't even have millions to give up. They're just regular people. Yet they've been reduced to the same level of destruction that I think Bill Gates should have to suffer. Because Bill Gates has profited off of us, and he's turned around and used that money for his special Jim Jones juice formulas that he's given to people in India and Africa. Yeah. Trump, there's so many things he could have done, so much more he could have done. Sadly, I can't, Nikki, right? He's not in power anymore. He's riling people up, which is what he's good at. He's drawing huge crowds, which he's good at. Has he learned his lessons? I don't know. The only one I see really fighting back is Peter Navarro and somewhat Michael Flynn. The rest of the Republican Party hates him. I'm talking about the GOP when I say Republican Party, not me and you, not the voters, right? If he gets reelected, is he going to be another dead horse, another dead stick, not able to do anything because he's hated by both political parties in DC? Does the country need to see that yet again? That the people want a populist, a very popular guy like Trump in office, while the power structure hates him. Well, I don't know which way is best to go, whether to abandon Trump or to put him on a pedestal and say, get up in front, buddy, take some more slings and arrows for everyone. Right? I don't think he's the greatest conservative, but I do think he's a lightning rod that's drawing people's attention away from Dances with Stars and away from Drag Queen with RuPaul, and made people look at him and go, okay, buddy, people are focused in now. Got their radar up, they're focused, right? He's good for those things. People paid attention to politics. Interesting. I still don't know where to land ultimately on this. I guess we're going to find out. Thank you, Nikki, very much for that great topic. Let us move on. There's more stuff going on. And right now, I guarantee, since we started this show, this particular Prepared Mind episode, I bet a lot more crap has happened. Okay, we got Jane Dixon stepping up to, throw a big one out there. And she said this was at the VA today, Veterans Administration today. Transgender affirmation is on the TV now. Really, even the old soldiers are pissed. Oh, they gotta be. It's just transgender affirmation. What does that mean? Affirming it, recognizing it. Oh, let's praise it. Praise the trannies for coming out. This to me is just an incredible thing. What used to be a serious mental illness, and is still, folks, a serious mental illness, has slowly undergone a transformation. Right? It's undergone this transformation where now, well, it's cool. And you're a progressive, open-minded dumbass if you approve of it, and everyone else will approve of you. Right? That's what do they call that? Is that virtue signaling or dog whistle to get people's attention? Hey, those trannies are good people, man. They're brave. Brave, I tell you. What's so brave about it, folks? The poor bastards are screwed in the head. And every one of them that has gone through, whether it's a boy trying to be a girl or a girl trying to be a boy, they get into it and they realize how much they fucked their brains up, their bodies up, that they've been mutilated, sterilized, and they can't go back. Once you cut your junk off, once you take their drugs, you can't go back. So, they're in big trouble. The destruction of a couple of generations, the millennials, the centennials, and I wonder if the next generation after that is going to learn its lesson. Well, sadly, right now, those under 18s that don't have their own little generation to look at, they're being told at age 5, 4, 3. Even 1-year-olds are being told, well, their parents are speaking for them. I could tell my baby is interested in being a transgender because I put 2 things in front of the baby. I put some blue paper and some pink paper, and the baby picked the pink paper. So therefore, the baby wants to be a girl. That's their thinking. That's about the brilliant level we have, folks. It's fucking crazy. They're absolutely crazy. They really are. I mean, they're just anti-everything American. Well, speaking of anti-American, in Illinois, Governor Pritzker, I know his name really is Pritzker, but Pritzker is just a smarter way to say it, I think, because he's a fucking fat prick. Anyway, he signs a, quote, anti-doxing bill, meaning you're not allowed to put out information identifying who people are because it's an anti-doxing bill. This is actually an attack on free speech, folks. I'm pretty sure that all these left-wing groups attack and violate us all the time, all they want. But what this bill is about, it's not about anti-doxing. It's about you. They don't want you to identify others who are using their personal ID in a public manner. In other words, they're coming out. And I don't mean from the closet. They come out and they say, hey, my name is Fred Smith, and I stand for cutting your balls off. If someone says, hey, Fred Smith is an idiot, they can get you for anti-doxing violation. You said his name and said what he's about. And it's like, well, he said it too, and he said what his name is. Well, they don't want you to dox, right? Don't expose them. But don't worry, they'll continue to dox us. Just like every other law, every other statute they have at the state or federal level. If no one's willing to enforce it against a Democrat, then it is only written to be used against you, a constitutional free American. Let me ask you a question. Here you are in America, the United States of America. Let's pick a state. Fuck it. Let's pick Utah. You're in Utah, and you say something that violates London's LGBTQ hate speech. Should you be held accountable to the people of London? Can the people of London bring charges against you? Are you bound in any way, form, or fashion to obey a statute from London, a London ordinance? No. It's London. It's foreign to us. London is alien to the people of the United States of America. So let me go again. If the United States is a separate and distinct jurisdiction from the 50 states, which are the United States of America, and the United States government is Washington, D.C., any law that is passed in Washington, D.C. is what? It is a foreign or alien statute, rule, or ordinance that does not apply to you and I. The federal government, the U.S. government, has limited jurisdiction between the states, but mostly that's to act as arbiter and protector of one state from another so that one state may not prejudice another. It doesn't give them governing powers to tell us what to do. But here we are, Illinois. They want to pass a law that prohibits free speech, prohibits you from, well, criticizing your political adversaries that are in the public square shooting their fucking lips off. These left-wing lunatics. So Illinois, can they come after you in the state of Utah? Or are you in a different state completely? These are real questions. Does the federal government, in protecting one citizen in one state from the actions of people like Prickster in another state, think they're going to come to our rescue on this? Folks, the courts are now a war zone, by the way. They're an absolute war zone today. The government is at war. Look at what Jane Dixon's talking about. Right there. There. Transgender affirmation. That needs to be on government TVs. Propagandizing veterans. Whew, I tell you, here we are. Thank you, Jane. Hey, Mr. Uman. Here we are at the Prepared Mind Studios. Let's move on to the next thing, shall we? We got Charles Gentry. He wants to talk about money, which is a great topic because SHTF, it's going to divest people of their wealth. Here's what Charles says. Here's a different angle on de-dollarizing of the world. Is it will force America and Americans to either be great again or go all the way the other empires that became corrupt. Up we the people. Money. What do they say? Money's the root of evil, all evil. Well, it's certainly the motivating factor for people to commit acts of evil, whether it's something simple like mugging someone, robbing them, or maybe something a little more sophisticated like robbing a bank. Something more sophisticated yet, using your knowledge to divest someone else of their property or put yourself in a better position to benefit. Or how about this one? Attaining office, public office, being elected or appointed, and using your power and authority and knowledge to, that's right, steal money, put yourself in the driver's seat on monetary financial deals. You bet. Money, corruption. Every empire has succumbed to it, failed because of it. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Yeah, America has to go that way. They do. Just a fact. It's just how it works. How far down we're going to go, well, that's a whole nother question, Charles. One of the ways to protect yourself from, well, the destruction of the dollar, the destruction of the value of the dollar, is to not hold dollars, not own dollars. And I'm not telling you make yourself poor. I'm not telling you to stop working. I'm telling you, why would you want to own something that is a guaranteed loser when you could own something else that is, well, of real value? Once again, something I've talked about for years is we've watched inflation get higher and higher and higher and higher over the years. Is food. If food is going to go up 5, 10, 20% in a year, or shit, 5, 10, or 20% in a couple of months, don't you think it would be advisable to own food that lasts for years, that rather than keeping dollars in the bank, a bank which could collapse, or the value of your currency, the dollar, going down in purchasing power? If your dollar goes down in purchasing power, simultaneously, the value of your food goes up. The value of your ammunition goes up, right? You could lose 10% of the value of your dollar, the purchasing power, but you look at your pantry and go, I didn't lose a single can of Spam, tuna fish, or pork and beans, right? Didn't lose any of that. You have the same amount. You still have 20 cans, 30 cans, 50 cans. I like food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, right? Are ways to hold things that matter, especially if shit hits the fan, goes nasty in your neck of the woods. Is it going to happen today? Probably not. Tomorrow, this week, this month? I don't know. But I think it's better to have and not need than to need it and not have it. That's an old axiomatic expression that no one gives a shit about until it's too late. And then everyone who's prepared gets to feel smart and not say a word to anybody out there because you don't want them to know that you have something that they want, that they're desperate for. And that's the kind of world that SHTF is. There are those that have and those that have not. And those that have not want from those that have and are willing to do anything to get it. I'm actually making sense. Unlike the government. All right, Mr. Uman, who wants to step up next? We've got a couple things to talk about. We got a little bit of time left. And it is Uman himself. He steps into the big circle and he says, hey, government incompetence sure sounds a lot more believable than directed energy weapons. Uh-oh. Uman. Uman goes to part 2. That's why I always say look for the simplest explanation first, also known as Occam's razor. Don't jump straight to the craziest conspiracy theory someone dreams up. Well, I'll tell you what. I enjoy conspiracy theories. I enjoy ridiculous notions, ideas, because they're entertaining to me. Now, the simplest explanation for why Maui is caught on fire. Could it be directed energy weapons? I don't know. It could be. But what is the simplest explanation? Well, we've got 2 stories out there that speak and smack of government incompetence, which has been demonstrated on this show and several discussions now, that the government is in high possession of these powers of fuckery, right? One of the guys in charge did not sound the alarm. People weren't aware. Apparently another bureaucratic person, whether appointed or elected, decided to turn the water off, and another one wouldn't turn on the emergency water. There's something going on there. But it was all government. It wasn't a directed energy weapon. It was an incompetent idiot weapon. It was government bureaucracy. Maybe they didn't fill out the right forms and turn them in triplicate and make sure you put the maroon copy here and the puce copy there. And make sure you sign it 3 times and put a drop of blood on it before the government does its job. And remember this, folks, and understand this and take it to heart. Government's job is to say no. That's right. A bureaucrat's job is to say no. Absolutely. Until you take away all their reasons to say no. Go ahead. Try to apply for something at the VA. Try to apply for help, government assistance. They'll look at your form and read through it all, and they'll find something that you have done wrong or a reason why you don't qualify, and you get no help, no assistance, no emergency services. Or let's just say you get an ambulance ride to the hospital. They'll send you a bill. They got no problem, competently sending you a fucking bill. And you're like, no, man. I was hit by someone else. It's someone else's fault, right? And they're going to say like, well, no, we think you're the person who needs to pay. And once again, they'll tell you, no, you're responsible. But when you try and tell government they're responsible, they're like, no, we're not. You big silly. That's government. That's how this works. Anyways, Uman and his directed energy weapons. Yeah, it's tiresome, folks. Is there a conspiracy within the government? Oh, I'm sure there are lots on many different levels. Very small conspiracies, very wide, vast ones, little local conspiracies, and then interstate conspiracies. Here's a big one. But is it a conspiracy? The National Teachers Union and all the state teachers unions and all of their ancillary groups, their tertiary groups, they're conspiring to push the LGBTQ and critical race theory agendas into the minds of children as young as they can get. That is right out there in the open. Is it a conspiracy if it's in the open? Well, no, conspiracies are secret. No, actually they're not. They're not. These people are committing crimes with their actions. As far as I'm concerned, it's a crime to expose children to this sexual literature and this perversion. And they're doing it right out in the open. And it's still a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy that has substance that you can touch, that you can see, that's well-founded. Do something about it. Get involved locally, get involved at your state level, get involved nationally. Fight them where we can put our hands on them. Support congressmen like Comer and others who are actually doing things. The few congressmen that are. Right? Impeaching Biden, it's pretty easy. There's not a conspiracy there. That's a real thing. Right? You can put your hands on it. Put your hands on a phone, dial the numbers. Do something real. Anyways, let us move on if we shall. I think we got another comment. Suggestion is name redacted. And he says this. Earlier today, John said about waking people up. It is essential for all of our survival. The people who see and understand is too small to save us without it. Yeah, we need more people awake, definitely. I started this show off by talking about dreams. Oh, man, I mean, the most peaceful time in my day is when I'm asleep. As long as I'm not having a freaking nightmare. But yeah, sleeping is very peaceful. You wake up, it's quiet, it's tranquil. Your body's at rest. Your heart rate is normal. I mean, nothing hurts, at least on those good days when nothing hurts. But here we are. Right, here we are. Then you wake up and you look around. You've woken up and you see, right? And you feel and you understand and you think. You remember what's going on. Here's a good one for you. This idiot comes over from Australia, this woke Aussie lady, and she looks around and she says that she is seeing too many American flags. And so she decided that she would go on X or Twitter. You know, X is what Twitter was formerly called. She goes on there and starts complaining that there's just too many American flags in America. She wants to know who's selling all these flags and how much money are they making. Right? Well, people went after her so quickly, so vehemently. They were like, well, if you don't like it, get the fuck out of here and go back to Australia. Well, what's interesting is she woke up, all of a sudden realized that there's American flags everywhere, but she wasn't bright enough or awake enough to realize she wasn't in Australia. And that America and Americans who are patriots love our country. We love America. We love our flag. We love our nation. We love our history. We love our culture. We love our traditions. And they're under attack. So one of the simplest ways that people can express their love and adoration for freedom, liberty, and keeping fruitcakes from taking over the country, one of the best ways to do it is to fly an American flag. So it must be one hell of an anti-American, America-hating, freedom-hating, socialist, dim-witted twit who would come over here to this country and then complain about what she sees. She gets triggered. Oh my God, there's flags. I mean, I could say I'm triggered by kangaroos. I'm triggered by koala bears. I'm triggered by kookaburras. I'm triggered by people who use the word outback. But why? What do I care? Well, this lady was so embarrassed. She's so stupid, such a dipshit, that she deleted her entire social media presence because she realized, yeah, what you say actually matters. Folks, what you say, the point of me reading this story about her, is you may not think you're getting to people. You may not think you're helping. But like this dimwit who did something very negative and got her attention, that the inverse actually applies as well. You may not realize it, but you can have a huge impact. You can use social media to have a huge impact. See, I wouldn't have heard about this idiot Aussie woman if she didn't put something stupid out there and a bunch of people responded so much that it goes viral and it makes it into a news stream that makes it to me. And now I understand who this dumbass is and what she did. We can have the same effect on things out there by us speaking up, exercising our right, affecting other people so that it spreads around. Will you get negative feedback? Sure, why not? But my message is positive. America is good. Our rights and freedoms are good. They're inviolable. The government cannot take them from you. There is no law they can pass that will strip you of your rights. The only thing you can do is abandon your rights because someone in the government told you they have the power to take them. You always have a choice. But don't wait until the last minute when that choice means there's someone at your door ready to take your gun or your life. We need to stand up for our rights now. Talk back now. Wake people up now. Make a difference now. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi, and Godspeed, and God bless America.